thank you very much, sir. Again, smile all the way. So the basics of smile surgery, we all know the smile surgery is. My slides are not.
There must be arrow on the. There must be arrow. You can. Oh yeah, right.
Sir. So we all know that the smile surgery basically involves a creation of a very small opening to the tune between 2 to 4 millimeters, and then extracting a lenticule. Can the AV guy help? I'm not able to move my slides.
Only you have to use the arrow down. You have to use the arrow.
Yeah, it's not moving. So it's not moving.
And it doesn't work actually with the computer.
It will work with cursor only. Yes. Pointer.
Cursor is not working.
Yeah. So basically creation of a small opening of 2 to 4 millimeters and then lenticule extraction vis-a-vis in LASIK surgery where it moves and then it suddenly stops moving. Can anybody help on this?
Sir, up arrow.
Are you AV guys there?
Hello, hello. Yes, sir.
The slides are not moving.
Sir, up arrow play option.
Yeah, I have. This is the play option.
Yes, play option. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Moving the slide.
Doesn't move now. It's not moving. So I think I'll not share complete screen. Am I visible now?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So are the slides visible?
Yes, yes.
You can go with the side, I think.
Okay.
So the basic key steps in smile surgery involve creation of a lenticule. So if you see here, this green is the first cut which happens on the base of the lenticule. Then you have a lenticule side cut, and then you have what is called as the cap cut, and then there is a cap side cut. So these are the basic 4 steps which usually take less than 15 seconds. So there are certain advantages of smile lenticule extraction over the corneal ablation because the femtosecond incision of the refractive lenticule shape, it is very well defined and determined. The lenticular cut is not affected by the ambient room conditions. So gone are those days where you really need to worry for the humidity, the temperature, the fluence test. So I think these were the 3 key features which are always affecting our ablation dependency or the results of the LASIK surgery. So you get a fully corrected optical zone from the center to the periphery because you're carving a lenticule. There is no need for radial energy corrections and the transition zones. So no controlled airflow and the plume removal, which was very necessary when you're doing on a excimer platform. So and no laser calibration or fluence test with impact on treatment results is required. So it's always a uniform treatment and there is no effect of these conditions whatsoever. So this could be made out on the various platforms of femtosecond laser, which were performing lenticule extraction by having a very high numerical aperture, a very small spot diameter, of a highly accurate depth, and single small pulse energies, what you see on the right side vis-a-vis the routine femtosecond platforms available in the world market. So the system that I have been using, no financial interest, the Visumax femto laser system typically has an energy of less than 300 nanojoules or less than 0.3 microjoules. So it basically has low spot energy, a high pulse rate, and a precise focusing, a spot spacing of 3 to 6 microns, which ultimately boil down to creating a lenticule which has the best of the separations, and you really need not wriggle, and a very smooth flat lenticule can be carved out without much manipulation. So let us take quickly how this translates. So the patient has been taken, docking has been done, vacuum applied, and this is what you see. The lenticule cut is being done. This is a green blinking light, which is the fixation light, and this is the side cut. And now we are moving through a cap cut. So this is how the cap cut advances, and this is the cap side cut as the 4th and the last step. So basically, we need to identify the 2 planes, one above the lenticule and one beneath, go in and do a very gentle separation. Just mark how smooth the separation is. There is no manipulation. Now I go underneath the lenticule, go left, and I leave a small pillar here on the left side, maybe 2 clock hours, and then do a complete separation on the right side. Just notice there is hardly any manipulation. And this is what my good friend Dr. Gaurav has taught, hydro expression. So this works very well. There are certain advantages with the smile procedures. No flap complications. So gone are those days where we used to have those microstria, the flap dislocation, epithelial ingrowth. So believe me, you can always have good sleep once you perform a huge volume of smile surgery, because the patient next day will not come with rubbing eyes and microstrias and dislocation, which used to bother us at large. So no flap related complications with this wonderful technology. The second big advantage is the amount of nerve cutting. 360-degree, the nerve, anterior nerve plexuses are preserved, and this basically translates into two things. You have less incidence of dry eye. So the patient recovery rate is much faster on a smile patient as compared to a flap-based procedures. The third big advantage is the integrity of the anterior stromal layers. So I believe PRK is the strongest when you talk about the biomechanics, but close to PRK would be placed smile, where the anterior layers are preserved, and it gives a much better biomechanical stability as compared to a flap-based procedures. It's believed, and various studies have shown, Reinstein and et al., where the anterior stromal layers are the thickest, and they give the required biomechanical stability and less chances of ectasia when you're on a smile platform. I'm sorry for all this because I'm moving. Centration with relax is the fourth big advantage. Now, what happens if a relax treatment is decentered? Now, mark closely. If you have a perfectly centered treatment, this is the lenticule. But even if your treatment gets decentered, the lenticule still, as long as the lenticule lies within the optic zone, it's not going to create any aberration. So the same change of curvature lies within the optical zone. So with smile, even slightest of the decentrations will not affect the quality of vision. Vis-a-vis, if you note in the excimer laser, where there would be aberrations due to a lateral profile compression, aberrations due to misplacement of the energies, and at the end, the LASIK treatment boils down to a very sensitive to decentration because of the profile compression and misplaced energy correction. Smile is quite forgiving in cases of decentered treatment. This was a study done by Shri Ganesh, and where they compared the visual and the refractive outcomes following the femtosecond laser. And they came up that refractive accuracy, the incidence of dry eye, contrast, and the induced aberrations are better, much better following smile rather than the LASIK surgeries. Another beautiful paper in the Journal of Cataract and Refractive, where they came up with the 5-year results of the refractive lenticle extraction. The long-term data indicate that the refractive lenticle extraction is an effective and safe procedure for the treatment of myopia. So this was one of the papers Dr. Tityal came up, and this basically shows the learning curve of smile is surgically challenging. And the most important step, or the step where most of the complications occur, is the lenticle dissection and extraction. So this is believed to be the most difficult step and leads to multitude of complications. So I think this is the area which needs to be understood, as most of the complications of smile surgery occur during lenticle dissection and extraction. Somehow it works and then stops working. So this is a list of the intraoperative complications which can happen in smile, and suction loss is one of the major complications. During those 15 seconds, you really need a very cooperative patient, because if you lose suction after 15% of the lenticule cut until the lenticle side cut, you'll have to abort the procedure and shift to a flap-based surgeries. Black spots, the opaque bubble layers, cap lenticule additions, retained lenticules, cap tears or side cut tears, and epithelial defects are some of the few noted complications. But believe me, these are very forgiving and never cause any major degree of loss to the patient. Yes, suction loss, as I was talking, it's quite forgiving. But just note the second block where if you have a suction loss during lenticle cut, which is more than 10%, until the time of lenticle side cut, it is only in this step where you need to convert to femtosecond laser and abort the lenticle extraction. Rest, all is very forgiving. You can redog the patient, restart the treatment from the place where the treatment stops, and then continue with the same procedure. Nowadays, gone are those days where we used to really worry in patients who gave us surprises after SMILE treatment. So the SMILE with the Circle software can be converted, cap can be converted into a flap, and with an excimer laser ablation, corrections can be made immetrope in those patients where you have surprises or if there is any residual refractive error. So to conclude, it's a very predictable procedure. It gives refractive stable results. The recovery is very fast. There is little or no intra and post-operative pain. The Circle software enhancements can be done. What we demand and we believe that in future the industry would be giving us is treatment for pure cylinders, hyperopia. There was a talk by Dr. Walter day before yesterday in the refractive symposium where they came up with the hyperopic results, which are very gratifying. And shortly, we believe that we'll have SMILE on hyperopic platform also. The only concern was the donut appearance or the central thinning, which is quite tricky when you when you do a lenticle extraction in hyperopic patients. And shortly, we might have an OCT guided lenticle extraction system, and yes, cyclotorsion registration. So thank you very much. And again, I'd like to thank Dr. Vinod Roda for making me part of this